Today on Judge Faith, sisters from Chicago battle over unpaid rent and hurt feelings.
But when you're trying to do something nice with somebody, they always appreciate you then. But when you asking for your stuff back, now it's this little money. Oh, you tripping.
It's boss her way, boss this, boss that. If you don't come in and make rules, this is how I want it done.
When you live in somebody else's house, there are rules.
And later, former friends with a history of drama get caught up in a dispute over money and the love of a woman.
He would message me to go to lunch with him, and that's where a lot of our problems came into play.
The two kept breaking up. I would get a text message from her saying I'm done with them. She wanted to discuss her relationship with Blake.
I think he likes her, Your Honor. He would always call her and text her, did Blake go to work?
Are the two of you still together?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I saw that side eye you gave her just a few seconds ago. That's okay. Y'all can work that out after court.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiff Delisa Laird says her sister agreed to pay rent once she got back on her feet, but left without notice or payment. She's suing for unpaid rent and related expenses. Defendant Shirley Laird says she doesn't owe because her sister caught a major attitude when she left to go live with her fiancé, and there was never an agreement between them to pay rent.
All rise. Court is in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Please be seated. Your Honor, the litigants have been sworn in. This is the case of Laird versus Laird.
Thank you, Juan. Delisa Laird,
Yes, Your Honor.
you were suing the defendant Shirley Laird
Yes, Your Honor.
for $1,800 for unpaid rent and some other related expenses. New
Yes.
television, radio, and installation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's going on here?
Well, my little sister is very irresponsible. Like, we grew
will
up.
not start off calling me irresponsible straight from the beginning.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
So we grew up in a house where we had responsibilities and we took care of what we were supposed to take care of when we knew. Like, we grew up under my grandmother. So if it was a dish, a fork left in the sink, everybody in the house was waking up and we was cleaning up. So growing up, I kind of kept that. And my sisters, they just didn't. So
How many sisters do you have?
well, there are three of us. So she's my middle sister and we have a younger sister who is, they took after each other. We tried the living together thing like 4 years ago, and it didn't work then. I had an apartment then, and like she's nasty. She leave food out in a. She like, you know how you.
How am I
something?
nasty?
You'll
I
leave
clean
'cause
and
she
I
leave
cook
her-
and I take care of my business.
Right,
So
okay.
how am I nasty?
All right. So what she'll do is she'll like leave food in the microwave for like 2 days. She'll cook something, leave whatever she cooked on the stove, and then she'll be like, oh, I'll get in and forget about it.
So that was 4 years ago?
Yeah, this was 4 years ago when I had an apartment. So you can imagine walking over somebody's clothes in your living room. You can't have company because she sleep on the floor. Like, it was all bad.
And what
So-
do you have to say, Miss Laird?
I totally disagree with that. I was at home a lot and I cleaned and cooked the majority of the time that we had the apartment. She likes to come in and think that it's boss her way, boss this, boss that. If we're sharing an apartment, you don't come in and make rules and say, hey, this is how I want it done, this is how I want it done. No, this is how we're going to do it together. Same, for instance, as right now.
Doesn't sound like the two of you made great roommates.
We did
No,
not.
we
So
don't.
how did you end up
Like,
living
I
together
found-
again?
That's when I found out we're better as, hey, see you, sissy, sisters, not live together sisters. Like, we split up. She moved to Ohio with her baby's dad, and then they broke up, and she got her little girlfriend, and they decided they was gonna have a family. They legit, they a family. And that's cool by me. I don't care. I'm like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it was cool.
Okay.
Well, who were you living with at the time?
Well, now I live by myself in a house. I
But
have a
before that, you were living by yourself
Yeah,
in a
before
house?
that, in
And
the
so your
apartment.
grandmother knew that, so that's why they called you.
Yeah.
You had space.
Listen. So then she calls me and she's crying, Ma, I don't nobody love me. I can't do this no more. I just want to go home. And when she sounded so sincere, you know, I'm not heartless. So I was like, if you gotta come, I mean, if you just can't work it out.
So you open the doors. Okay, all right, I understand. So what ends up happening? So you move in when to the house?
I move in, I would say around February, maybe.
And is it true that you called her and said that no one loved you and you didn't have a place to go?
No, that was definitely not true. Me and my fiance of now, we were arguing a lot. So me and her decided to break up. When we broke up, I called my sister. I said, hey, listen, you know that my fiance is more of the breadwinner. She pays majority of the bills. So with us not being together, I wouldn't know how I was going to be able to work things out. Can I come stay with you?
Did you agree to pay rent?
Until I get on my feet, no, not at all.
You didn't agree to pay anything?
I definitely did not agree to pay rent. Living in somebody's basement.
I live in a good neighborhood, so it's a nice basement.
So how long did you live there?
I would say a couple months.
Just 2 months?
It was, when
did
I
you say
moved
she
out?
moved out?
Because
She doesn't know.
That was definitely made because
Ladies.
She doesn't know. When do you say she moved out?
she moved out the second week of May because she just disappeared.
What do you mean by that?
Man, listen, Judge, we had went through a whole bunch of stuff, right? So first her car broke down, so she needed some stuff. That's why she couldn't pay her half right quick, because her car broke down and she needed to save up money to fix her car. She borrowed my car, got my TV radio stolen out of my vehicle because she was irresponsible and left my doors unlocked. Then
I thought you said you lived in a good neighborhood.
Exactly. It's Chicago. It could happen to anybody. I just helped him out a little bit. It could have bust the window out and took your radio.
She don't even...
I gotta believe.
My question is, where did it happen? The TV and radio, when it was broken, where did it happen?
Outside of her home.
I ain't never had these problems, ma'am, because I always lock my doors. So what happened was that I guess she got out the vehicle and she parked it in my driveway, which is right by an alley. So I guess when the next morning, me and my daughter get in the car, I'm finna take her to school, I'm finna do my jams, and now I can't listen to them jams because my radio gone. So I called her, and I'm like, Shay, somebody stole my radio. She's like, oh my God, here you go. I'm like, what you mean, oh my God, here I go? Then I don't like smoking in my house. She got her friends in my crib. They smoking weed and cigarettes all in my house. My house I don't smoke. I don't let these things be in my house.
Were you smoking weed in the house?
I was not smoking weed in the house.
Who
now,
was?
Cigarettes, I do smoke weed. My friends,
But my
they
house
do
smell like
engage
that.
in all that activity.
But in her house?
In her, and you want me to pay rent, but this is your house, but I can't.
Coming up, the sisters disagree over the details of their roommate arrangement.
It's family.
Do you understand it is not your house?
Yes, I understand
Your
that.
sister's house does not mean it's your house.
And later, former friends fight over an unpaid debt and the love of a woman.
I thought he was his friend. So I went out to lunch with him one time, and the whole time he sat there and said, you know, Mr. Sunvor is a liar, and it caused problems between us.
Plaintiff Delisa Laird says Shirley left without notice or payment. She's suing for unpaid rent and related expenses. Defendant Shirley Laird says she doesn't know because there was never an agreement between them to pay rent.
When you live in somebody else's house, there are rules. So you don't pay rent, and you have friends over there smoking weed in the house.
This is my sister's house. I felt
But
like
it's not
we're
your
family.
house.
I could do
But
what
it's not your house.
I mean, we could. It's family.
Do you understand it is not your house?
Yes, I understand
Your
that.
sister's house does not mean it's your house.
Can I?
So the day you
Judge.
decide to leave, you send her a text and you say, I'm leaving. Why so sudden? Why the
Because me
urgency?
and my girlfriend got back together.
Really? So you just leave your sister? Just like that?
Your Honor, let me tell you how she did it, though. She lying. A couple of days went past, nobody was there. I'm like, did you pull a Houdini on me? My uncle called and said, oh, so I guess you and Shay couldn't get it together, huh? I said, what you mean? He said, she back. I said, back where? He said, in Ohio. I said, shut your mouth.
What condition do you say she left the home in?
I got a video that I sent in because I want y'all to know, I want you to know what she left.
Okay, let me see.
This is going into my basement. This is all her and her son's stuff. See how neat that is, Judge? I have not touched nothing because I don't want no problems. I ain't got no son.
You see that little odd thing hanging on my garage? What is that, might you say? That, my friends, will be a bed frame. It's been sitting here since she pulled a Houdini on me.
Go back to the video of the basement. Roll the video.
This is going into my basement. This is all her.
Can you pause in the basement, please? That's how you leave it? Because it was cheaper just for you to go back. Obviously, you didn't tell her you were leaving.
I sent her a text.
That's not how you, even if that
respond.
happened, that's not how you tell somebody that you are moving back 4 hours away and leaving their house and you don't know when they're going to be back. You don't send a text. I have sisters. I have 2 sisters, too. If I ever need a place to go, They will open up their home to me. I would never do that to them. First of all, if I'm going to leave after living there for 2.5 months with my child, I'm going to have enough decency and respect and courtesy than to send them more than a text message to tell them I'm moving back 4 hours away. Bottom line.
So then it gets this much better, Judge. My daughter's father lives in Dayton, Ohio, right around where my sister lives. And this summer she went to go stay with him. So my daughter came back up home and she's like, oh, Mommy, TT house is so nice. I'm like, what you mean TT house nice? So apparently my sister done got her house furnished. Where my money? You keep telling me you're gonna send my little money, because money is always little money when you owe somebody. But when you asking for it, or when you trying to do something nice for somebody, they always appreciate you then. But when you asking for your stuff back, now it's this little money. Oh, you tripping.
I never agreed to send you anything.
Do you have anything in writing from her?
No.
You said that you left the car unlocked and the radio was stolen, and so in that event you were the responsible person at the time. You admit to doing that. I'm going to order you to make that payment. So the plaintiff is suing for $1,400 in rent and $400 for the TV, radio, and the installation. That's a total judgment in the plaintiff's favor in the amount of $1,800. Good luck.
Thank you so much. I feel that the judge ruled awesomely. I'm happy. My sister deserves everything she's gonna get coming to her, so.
I really have nothing more to say to my sister after this point. She made a complete mess of this. I am just done with the whole situation overall.
We're always interested in what you have to say about our cases. Write us with your thoughts or comments. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, or my Instagram. I look forward to hearing from you.
Plaintiff Tim Shocker says his former friends gave him nothing but excuses when he demanded to be paid. He's suing for the value of a computer and a bed. Defendants Blake Sunvor and Rhonda Bell say they don't owe because they had an agreement to work off the debt, and Tim has a history of taking people to court. They're countersuing for services rendered.
Tim Shocker?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were suing the defendants Blake Sunvor
Yes,
and Rhonda Bell.
Yes, Your Honor.
For $2,551 you say they owe you, the value of a computer and a bed.
Correct, Your Honor.
And you are countersuing for $5,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
For services rendered. And you'll
Yes, Your
explain
Honor.
to me what that means.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll start with you, Mr. Shocker. Tell me what's going on here.
I've known Mr. Sunvor for approximately 5 years. We became friends, and that's how I met Miss Bell, too, through that relationship. Mm-hmm. They had moved in together. They needed a bed, and I had...
So you're the person they call when they need a bed? Why is that? What do you do for a living?
I'm a computer technician, and I had some money from one of my customers that I had accumulated in a trade account. Mr. Sunvor needed a bed.
You could get them a bed for $1,951. You own a company as well.
Correct.
What kind
Your
of
Honor.
company is that?
It's a computer and IT consulting and internet service provider.
Okay, and so you had a computer that was a custom computer, and he needed one, and you sold that computer to him for $600. Is that true?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so what happened? Why are we here?
I asked him to pay me back, and he had always paid me back in the past, so I never thought it was going to be a big deal this time. And then he came up with, well, I did a whole mess of work for you, and...
Work as in what? Personal work?
Personal work, Your Honor.
Is that true?
He did a little bit, but not very much.
And was that in exchange for what he owed you?
Correct, Your Honor.
Well, so did you deduct that from what you're suing for today?
I forgot to, Your Honor.
What do you mean you forgot to? Sir, this is your lawsuit.
Correct.
This is your lawsuit. You came up with these numbers. How much work did he do for you?
He did about $250 worth of work for me.
Okay, and you say it's $5,000.
Yes,
Tell
Your
me
Honor.
about it.
He owns an internet company. And so he asked me to do installs for me. He's like, hey, man, you could take and work off this bed, you know, because it's easier on paper, you know, if you just work it off, then I don't have to claim it on taxes, whatever.
So how many hours worth of work did you do?
You know, I didn't really keep track because I didn't think...
Well, how are you suing for $5,000 if you didn't keep track?
Coming up on Judge Faith, text messages tell a different story about the agreement between the former friends.
And you asked him, wait, are they hot? And he responded, they are hot-ish. Did you, in fact, tell him the boxes were hot-ish?
Plaintiff Tim Shocker says his former friends are full of excuses. He's suing for the value of a computer and bed. Defendants Blake Sunvor and Rhonda Bell say they don't owe because Blake worked off the debt. They're countersuing for services rendered.
Why is she in this lawsuit? I don't understand. Why is she here?
Because those
She's his girlfriend? So you're just going to say, if I'm at a loss, everybody loses?
No, Your Honor. The two kept breaking up, and the property was in flux at the time. I would get a text message from her saying, I'm done with him.
Why is that his business?
He would message me. Like, he would invite me to go out to lunch with him, and that's where, like, a lot of our problems came into play, is, like, I thought he was his friend. So I went out to lunch with him one time, and the whole time he sat there and said, you know, Mr. Sunvor is a liar, he's a bad person, he's this, he's lying to you, and a bunch of drama, and I didn't want to deal with it, and it caused problems between us.
So you only went out to lunch with him one time?
Yes,
and after
but
you
he
learned
asked
that,
me several times after that. And
why do you think she wants to continue to go out to lunch with you?
She wanted to discuss her relationship with Blake.
Okay.
And she was the one that had questions about what was going on between those two.
Mm-hmm. Are the two of you still together?
Mm-hmm.
Now? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I saw that side eye you gave her just a few seconds ago. That's okay. Y'all can work that out after court.
I think he likes Rhonda, Your Honor. It's not a, you know, he would always call her and text her, did Blake go to work? Did Blake buy a new truck? He's had opportunity.
So the two of you work together?
No.
No?
I'm not involved in any of this, really. I don't even know why I'm here, to be honest with you.
So if I understand this correctly, you're suing her because you think she has part ownership of this bed?
Correct, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and dismiss the lawsuit against Ms. Bell.
Okay.
You had the agreement with Mr. Sunvor. She does not acquire his debt just because she slept in the bed, too.
Correct.
Allegedly.
I found out that he had stolen boxes, that he used my truck to go get them in my garage.
So you're saying he used your truck to go and pick up stolen property?
Yes, stored it in my garage.
Is this your allegation in the complaint where you said in July of 2016 you have a conversation with him about boxes and he mentioned something about them being acquired?
Yes.
And you asked him, wait, are they hot? And he responded, they are hot-ish.
Yes.
Did you in fact tell him the boxes were hot-ish?
I did not.
Here's what I know, based on the evidence. You have a bed, you have a computer. Those two things you got from him, you agreed to pay. Your defense is you worked off all of this. I asked you, how are you going to prove that to me? How many hours you work? Your answer is you don't know. So here's what I'm going to do. I think you worked off something. I don't know the amount. I'm deducting $500 for the work you say you did. What else do you have to say?
I just found the evidence, Your Honor. It's now, in his words, $380 I worked off.
Let me see that text message with the $380. Do you remember writing that to him?
I did write that, Your Honor.
What date? When?
You
didn't show me that text message.
Coming up, Judge Faith rules. And now, Judge Faith rules.
I'm gonna talk to both of you right now. Both of y'all are shady. You know why? Because you come in here telling me you worked out $5,000 worth of work, knowing it's nowhere near close to $5,000 because the two of you had discussed it and he told you you worked off $380. Now, if you thought you did $5,000 worth of work, wouldn't you respond and say, are you crazy? All this work I did for you, $5,000 worth of work? You know it's nowhere close to that. But you tell him $380 and that's in July?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to enforce today. $380 worth of work. So, your lawsuit against Ms. Bell is dismissed. I'm going to deduct $380 from the total that you're suing for. $2,171 judged before the plaintiff. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
You know, I hope that we can one day remain friends and, you know, things can return to how they were.
He definitely did not, you know, have any proof of it. I was trying to be honest to show what I had. She wouldn't hear it, so I guess goes to show, whatever.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.